We're here at Swamp Fest in the rain, and I'm with Bill Nitschke and Dave Voelker, and we're going to talk about how BMX has changed throughout the years. That's where the conversation's going to start.
We were just talking about that.
What were you talking about?
About how, like, in the early years, it was a little bit easier for us to come up with tricks and be a little more creative, as to where now it's still going and going and going. And
we thought it would come to an end, and it just won't. And you just see these new tricks that you're going, there's no way in hell we would have ever have thought about doing a goddamn nose wheelie and go up some goddamn stairs.
So
you're gonna smash your face, dude.
So what's amazing about this, and what I love about the fact that Bill Nitschke is here, is that you invented the hop whip, correct?
Right.
Correct. So Bill invented the hop whip. When you were doing that trick, did you ever even conceive what could have been possible after? Like, what could have, that was never in your mind. It was just the whip.
that was it. That was just another trick. I was inventing tricks almost daily at that time because you're riding so much. And that was just another one I was working on along the way. And it took me a year to hit that trick, by the way.
So, like, you didn't think of the next, and then somebody else comes along later and adds to it. And now we are where we are, and what you're talking about, it doesn't end.
Right, it doesn't end.
And it's crazy to think, like, you did it for the first time way back when you did it, and now it's still not over. Like, people are still inventing.
What was the year you first did it?
When I first did it?
First hop whip. First one.
Summer of '90.
So 1990.
I tried. We had a jam in summer of '89. That's when I tried it. I started doing it then and kind of worked on it a little bit over time. And then by summer of '90, I hit it.
So you take 90, 2010, 2020, and you go from single hop whip to guys being able to hop double whip now.
Somebody did one off of a flat ledge, probably like this tall. It's not flat.
Right.
He does them on flat ground.
That can literally hop, double tail whip, and catch it.
That's crazy. So, like, what other aspects of BMX, like, changing, like, through the years, like, to where it was back in the day to now, like, do you think about?
By the way, I mean, when it comes to ramps, we built transitions out of 2x4s. Chung, 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 chung.
Yeah, literally.
Terrible. It's not smooth at all. Everything has been refined and then just blown up.
Yeah.
All the mega ramp stuff, even the dirt jumps, man. The guy, I mean, we never thought. At least he grew up jumping at Mission Trails, right? And that was his spot. And the first time I rode that place was at the Meet the Street, all that contest back then. And their death jump back then is tiny compared to what everybody's jumping now, for the most part. But back then it was gigantic.
Yeah.
So you had things, but what's happened now, man, it's just out of control.
It's extreme.
It's kind of crazy to think about what it takes to be insane today.
Yes.
Like, the videos back in the day, people are just trying to bar spin a dirt jump or three a dirt jump, and people are losing their minds because it didn't happen back then.
Yeah, you want to hear how simple it was? Like, I had a vision in my mind that I want to ride up a wall as high as possible, so if I build a jump, I would be able to do it. And I invented big wall rides by building a dirt jump, and then now I could go to new heights and shit, you know?
It's crazy because
so simple.
Now, or even up to this point, it was a few years ago, but Drew Bezansen's Uncontainable, where he's going out of, like, however tall that lip was to that wall, like, and coming back in, and it started with, like, you realizing, oh, if I build a dirt lip at this wall.
Just think about Stu Johnson doing Real Street and those clips, man, of those riders and what they do and what they put together and go out and find to ride that's never been ridden before. And they're stepping that up, and that's ridiculous.
And how hard that probably is right now.
It's ridiculous.
Because one time they break their leg, and a month and a half later they go back, or however long it takes, they go back and they do it again. Like, waiting that long to pull that one particular gnarly thing.
Okay, so here's a good question compared to how things have changed. So back, like, when videos were starting and all of these things, was it that you were like, okay, I want to do this trick and film this trick? Or was it just the fact that somebody was there filming whatever happened and that's what you caught?
That's the way I am. I don't ever film, hardly ever.
Yeah.
I don't ever hardly ever do. I just want to ride for fun, and I hope somebody else is filming and they catch it. I don't see a lot of it, but I know a lot of people get some stuff, but I just ride for fun. That's how I've always done it.
Yeah, no,
Dave's-
I have no documentation of anything.
Oh.
Even like when I would go to the sand dunes and jump motorcycles and shit, I don't have any proof that I was doing gnarly shit, you know. But yeah, we didn't really have anything unless a magazine called you up and said, "Hey man, I want to shoot you."
Which is a crazy thing to think about.
Something else that's really changed in the industry from the beginning to now is the technology and advancement in what we ride.
Oh yeah.
Leaps and bounds. I mean,
It's safe now.
I'm riding a top
Kinda.
line F1 race car, you know, as a bike now versus what we had back then, you know. One piece cranks, come on, it didn't last that long. I go through 3 sets of those in a day in a session.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude, I straighten out my forks in the middle of contests. I would like bend them out, and I would just pick up my bike and hit it on the ground.
Or
a couple
run into a
times,
wall.
and keep going.
Like, see, and this is, to me, this is crazy because when I started riding, it was when freewheels were being phased out. My first complete BMX bike had a freewheel on
You're
it,
young.
and I never had one ever after that. Yeah, how crazy is that?
That is crazy.
So I didn't invent the unbrake, but I brought it into help bring it in and mass produce it for freestyle, and that's why there's a few other people that kind of got on that. Pete Brandt helped out with that, and that came back with Danny Ming, and then I got right on it, manufacture them. And that's what started our freestyle free coaster revolution for the most part. That was something that was refined, you know. There were certain hubs that just were junk back then and they didn't work. That worked. And that's what really got it going and made it stick.
It's pretty cool to think about, and then like changing from threadless, I guess that's what it was called, headsets.
Yeah, 1 inch threaded to an inch.
Yeah, like
Which we would tighten in the
Threadless.
middle of contest.
going to what we have now, which is like something
It's so
pretty bad.
simple. I gotta take my bike apart and put on new forks. What?
Yeah.
That would take
In
us
no time.
front brakes, back brakes. We got all kinds.
Bearings falling out of the retainers all over the floor.
Oh, not sealed bearings, yeah.
Oh, they were loose
You had to
ball.
Yeah.
individually like, oh
There was
my
like
god.
20, there's probably like 24 bearings in a headset bearing.
And when
in a
they were
retainer.
dry, they would bounce everywhere. You gotta try to find them all.
If you're changing forks, you're changing headset bearings too.
That is such a crazy, like
My
it,
cups were breaking.
that's wild to think about. I never experienced like cups in the frame. My first ever complete bike had an integrated headset, and I never dealt with cups
Yeah, no, we used to have
ever.
to try to hit those things out with like screwdrivers and stuff, pounding through the head tube to hit the edge of the bottom cup to try to get that side, then get that side, then get this side. Then get
That's
that side.
so crazy. And bottom brackets too, with like,
Hammers and 2x4s to put the new headset cups in.
wow. It's cool to talk about something like this with people who like lived all of it up until this point. Like, I feel like BMX has progressed very well. Like the bikes and
If we had the technology today back then, where we would be now would be
who knows? Nobody knows.
nobody even knows, man. That's a whole different ripple in the wave.
And like I feel like we can't even begin to talk about what comes next, just because of the same concept I asked you earlier about. Did you think about what came after the hop whip or the with the whip in it?
Lighter bikes that are half the weight, stronger riders that are actually training, not just riding for fun as a hobby.
No, eating right the whole deal.
Eating right, being healthy, all that extra stuff that we didn't really, we were just kids on bikes and it turned into something. We weren't born into something that was already in the Olympics. Like there's kids now, you know, they're like, oh, that's going to be normal for them.
And their parents can accept it because it's in the Olympics.
That's true too.
Respect level goes up now because of something that simple, you know. You're a BMXer?
Wow. He was saying how his dad was pushing him to get a job, grow up, and my dad did the same.
My
exact
my
thing.
mom used to ask me sometimes, like, or say like, "Oh, you need to quit riding that bike." I'm like, it's never ever going to happen. And now, like, they get it now. Like,
Yeah, but it took a while.
it took me traveling across the whole country, like all over, you know, to be like, oh, like I get it.
I think
guess.
anybody that really truly loves it, they battle their parents because their parents don't see what you see in it. They don't know where you're going with it. They're just looking out for your best interest in their opinion. But as long as you're having fun, man, that's what it's always about, you know?
Right. So, are you guys proud of where BMX is today compared to when you started?
Oh, yeah.
Just to plug this place a little bit, Swamp Fest.
Yeah.
It's great for me to see the actual soul of what we intended the sport to be, which is different than mainstream. And that's what this is, different than mainstream of all the other events that are going on. This is freedom. This is like, it doesn't matter who you are, we're all equal here, you know, and I feel it.
Everybody gets dirty here.
Yeah.
The
Hell
spirit
yeah.
of it's here. true spirit, you know?
Yeah,
And-
and it's come a long way, obviously, with the things that are being done out there. To where we were talking about, I was with Moeller earlier, and we were talking about how the frame grind, whatever else is going on, I don't even know. There's pedals sticking on the coping
Crooked grinds
sideways.
and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm watching that stuff, and he was just like, yeah, remember we used to do that, but it just was so sloppy, and nobody ever really took it far because we had 46 tooth sprockets on there that were bending, and yeah, so there was a lot of challenges that you guys all worked out.
Things are definitely like to a crazy point, but I will say I'm still out there at Bubaka and sub rails.
Yeah.
And you get it. Yeah, you get it. It's as much as it's changed, it's still
Yes.
it's still the same. I feel like
You got my nose to big tail whip?
I don't.
Inventor of it.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
see? Inventor knows
And
the
how
tail
far
like
has
that.
that trick gone? Oh my god.
You got Bobby Altizer who did 4 of them on a double coping street spine
Really?
like years ago. Yeah, 4 of them on a double coping. Yeah, BMX is crazy, but thank you guys, Bill
Salute, my
Nitschke,
friend.
Dave Voelker. Check out the other Swamp Fest videos and make sure you follow what these guys are doing. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.